Welcome back to From the Pages, where wrestling's past leaps from the paper and into your imagination. Make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment below, because today we're cracking open Championship Wrestling from May 1987, a quarterly from modern day periodicals that hit the stands like a thunderclap of muscle, madness, and mail order mayhem. This issue is a time capsule of power and paranoia. Nikita Koloff joins the American Dream. Chris Adams abandons world class. Steve Strong terrorizes the territories, and Abdullah the Butcher bathes in blood from continent to continent. It's pulp glory in full color. Well, let's dive in. We start in the departments, the connective tissue of the Apter era magazines. Official ratings on page 6 sets the stage. Hulk Hogan reigns supreme. Ric Flair is still the measuring stick, and champions across the WWF, NWA, and AWA are listed like gods in a pantheon. The typography alone screams authority, a tabulated universe of heroes and villains frozen in ink. Then the fans speak out, the wrestling equivalent of a live call-in show. One reader from Detroit praises the Russian nightmare, Nikita Koloff, for seeing the light and turning against the Kremlin. Another demands that Randy Savage divorce Miss Elizabeth before she ruins his championship focus. Editors reply with sly kayfabe humor, equal parts referee and gossip columnist. Next comes Around the Mat, a rapid-fire global update, Kerry Von Erich's recovery from injury, Kamala's brief disappearance in the Caribbean, and word that the NWA might be planning a super show to rival WrestleMania. It's rumor, innuendo, and news blended seamlessly into theater, the house style of mid-80s wrestling journalism. Then the issue bursts into full storytelling mode with Nikita Koloff, American ally. Once the iron-fisted symbol of Soviet menace, Koloff is now portrayed as a redeemed warrior who's seen the truth through friendship with Dusty Rhodes. The article celebrates him as a defector from darkness, the modern-day Paul on the road to Atlanta. Photos show Koloff and Rhodes shaking hands before a flag backdrop, the text gushing about a red star turned red, white, and blue. It's part Cold War propaganda, part redemption arc, and all spectacle. From there, we pivot to Chris Adams, the elegant Englishman whose decision to leave world-class championship wrestling sparks controversy. The article, dripping with accusation, asks, was it courage or cowardice? Adams claims he left to seek new challenges, but sources whisper about locker room tension and a broken ego after his feud with Gino Hernandez. Adams' mirror, the piece says, shows both beauty and fear. It's an archetypal wrestling magazine narrative. Ambition meets self-destruction. Next up, Steve Strong, wrestling's newest sadist. If the 80s had a villain archetype, Strong embodied it, bronzed, body-oiled, and merciless. The writer paints him as a muscle-bound messiah of malice, quoting Strong bragging that pain is my pleasure, domination my destiny. His victims so far include Rick Martel, and the magazine speculates that Abdullah the Butcher or even the Road Warriors may be next. Each paragraph feels like a movie trailer, hyperbolic, ominous, irresistible. Wrestler of the Month honors Percival Pringle III, manager of Rick Rude, Buzz Sawyer, and Matt Bourne. He's described as a mind in a body that shouldn't have one. The story walks a perfect line between respect and ridicule, calling him a vicious visionary with the face of a mortician and the tongue of a serpent. Photos show Pringle mid-smirk, holding Rude's robe like a priest preparing a ritual. Then comes David Sammartino, heir to the living legend. The piece takes a surprisingly sentimental tone, describing the younger Sammartino's effort to escape his father's shadow. He inherited the heart, the article says, but not the patience. It applauds his ring work while admitting he may never equal Bruno's aura. There's something haunting about its final line. The legend lives twice, once in the father's memory, once in the son's struggle. A special highlight follows Steve Regal, Lightning Strikes the WWF. Regal's speed and scientific precision earn him rare praise from a magazine usually obsessed with powerhouses. He's a throwback, the article notes. A man who wins with finesse, But the tone turns ominous when it warns that such style could prove deadly against Hulk Hogan, hinting at an underdog challenger narrative that never came to fruition. And then the bloodbath centerpiece, Starrcade 86, the ultimate wrestling showdown. This multi-city extravaganza, broadcast from Atlanta and Greensboro simultaneously, is recapped like an epic poem. Flair defending the world title, Dusty Rhodes battling Tully Blanchard, the Road Warriors tearing through the Russians, Magnum TA's absence hanging like a ghost. The prose is electric. It was wrestling's night of iron and fire. 2 cities, 1 heartbeat. Photos blur from color to monochrome. Every bruise, a headline. The closing feature belongs to Abdullah the Butcher, the African nomad. It's a character study written with pulp horror glee. He circles the planet like a curse, it says, describing him as both myth and monster. The article claims that his former manager, caught in betrayal, became his latest victim. A whisper of cannibalistic legend that fits the Butcher's aura perfectly. Each description is primal. He smells blood before the crowd sees it. And now the advertisements, which define this era as much as the matches themselves. The inside front cover advertises the official wrestling album, Volume 2, featuring the WWF's greatest hits, Grab Them Cakes, Real American, Pile Driver. For $12.95, you could own the soundtrack of the Squared Circle. Next comes Muscle Secrets of the Pros, a bodybuilding manual that promises ripped biceps in 30 days, illustrated with the dubious sketches. A full-page Charles Atlas dynamic tension ad reappears here too. The eternal weakling kicked in the sand story, reprinted unchanged since the 1930s. You too can have a hero's body, it proclaims. A smaller sidebar hawks official WWF t-shirts, Hulkamania in yellow, Rowdy Roddy Piper in red, and JYD in chains for $8 a piece plus $1 postage. Halfway through, we hit the mail order avalanche. Novelty stores offering plastic championship belts, autograph books, photo portrait sets of Miss Elizabeth, and 35mm slides of women's wrestling classics. The back pages feature Wrestling Eye subscription offers promising the stories the WWF doesn't want you to read, alongside bodybuilding tape ads, hypnosis programs, and the ever-present spy pen with hidden lens. Every corner of these pages sold the dream of power, in the ring, in the mirror, in your mailbox. Finally, the closing subscription form wraps it all up. Get Championship Wrestling delivered to your door. 4 issues a year for $9, because the action never ends, even when the TV does. The small print confirms the publishing home, Modern Day Periodicals, 1115 Broadway, New York, New York. The issue ends not with an article, but with a manifesto, a promise that wrestling, like America itself, was too big to contain. That's Championship Wrestling, May 1987. A quarter's worth of mayhem, morality, and marketing, where every headline bled drama, every photo sold mythology, and every ad whispered temptation. Like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. Tell us which ad you'd send away for, or which story hooked you the hardest. This has been From the Pages, where wrestling history lives again.